Okay, so picking up where I left off last week, I've got this all put into place now. You can see I've got my extensions riveted on here. And that closes it out to the end of the car there. It's a double wall to keep debris out of the inner quarters. So at any rate, I was fooling around with the exhaust system. I wanted to kind of get an idea how that all was going to play out, where the hangers have to go, how it was going to interact with the bumper, and all I really needed was a couple of 2-foot pieces of straight exhaust pipe, but it's 2 3/4, which is obviously an odd size. All your auto parts stores, they jump from 2.5 to 3 inches, so I had to order that stuff. So I wanted to button everything up over here. My closure panel on the bottom side of this quarter panel here, in this area here, but I have to have the exhaust in place to see how far over I can take that panel. At any rate, looks like I got to drop that project and get over to the other side. I never did mention this. This is the wheel spacer I'm using, the 2-inch wheel spacer, to kick these out to where they represent what the final wheel is going to look like. At any rate, these just bolt up to the existing studs, and then these are all machined in here. It's very nice and tight. Anyway, over to the other side, get started. All right, so before I get to cutting anything off on the other side, I'm going ahead and created this template here so that I can make sure that I match my curvature on my other side. So it's just a simple piece of 1/4 inch with a piece of 3/4 inch screwed to it, and I'll flip that 3/4 inch around to the other side so that I can reverse this on the other side and check my curvature as I shrink and stretch. It should help save some time, hopefully, by just matching this up. I've also taken measurements here to here, actually from here to here, and then from here to the wheel, not the tire, because the tires, are worn differently on both sides. So I've done the same thing here, measured from the wheel right at the body line here so I can match my wheel openings as they relate side to side. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Getting ready to go on to the other side and start my butchery. All right, so I went ahead and cut the quarter panel off on this side. Cut the wheel rim out about 1 inch away from the inside edge of the wheel rim, and cut it off the front bulkhead. Anyway, what I've been up to is basically all the easy stuff, but time-consuming stuff. I've put some 3/8 of an inch stobs up to the wing washer here to hold this area stable, so that's nice and solid now. And keeps any lateral movement out of the wing while assembling it, so as to not to warp the tops of the quarter panels. And also, I added this little piece of this floor extension to correct this so that I can later on put this closeout panel over here. I put this panel back in, which I'd cut out when I was scalloping the car. And I think there's an electronic panel that ends up mounting, there you go, up there somewheres. Anyway, I added this little tail piece onto the wheel tub. I cut off 3/4 of an inch and put my flange to accept my little transitional piece of aluminum that I just showed you on the other side of the car, that I span between this inner wheel tub and the outer flange of the outer wheel tub that's connected to the quarter panel itself eventually. Put that unit in, plugged it back in. I like to get everything plugged back in as soon as possible so I don't forget where it goes. Put this drain on the window enclosure over here. I ran it through here, put a nice capture over here, and it dumps out on the bottom of the rocker over here. And I just got done building this expansion panel for my door jamb and matching it to the door itself, minus the thickness of the skin. and then stobbing it out permanently right now about 1/4 of an inch, and when the skin flaps over, hopefully it'll be a nice 3/16 opening there. If not, I'll just trim these back and spread it, or move them as I need to. The next task is putting that rocker in. Actually, the next step is to get under there and weld the existing rocker to the car and get that all ground up and cleaned up, and then I'll have to build this rocker below the door. Anyway, not going to be a lot of new content, as you can see, this week, based on the fact that this is all pretty much a repeat of what I did the last 2 or 3 weeks on the other side of the car, except for I don't have to put a gas hole in this side, which that was a tremendous amount of work to get that all straightened out. Anyway, I'll be moving on to the next thing. Okay, so I'm working on this side rocker now to fill in underneath the door. And as you know from the past, this is a tapered piece. It's wider at the back than it is at the front, both top and bottom. In order to get all these bends correct, and then also this little slight curvature in here, because this top edge has to be a number of 3 1/8 inch bends over here to get this to roll over. I went ahead and I made up these pieces here, which are basically what it looks like on either extent. The very back of the door and then the front. And what this allows me to do is make sure that I've got all of my lengths right, and that my lines that I put in here correspond with the body lines that are in the quarter panel, the front of the quarter panel, and down in here, and that it's the same curvature as this. And of course, following out with the front fender the same way. I've got a small little bulkhead here in the front that defines that front edge and how it meets the fender. So in order to maintain all these bends and make sure that they're the correct angles, these 2 little pieces represent both the front and the rear of this panel. And then basically, as I put it through the sheet metal brake, I use this to line up all my bends, and that way it's a whole lot closer than just doing measurements, because what you end up with when you have something this large of a piece and complex with so many, especially a rounded bend like this, errors start to compound. In other words, there's a little bit of error in this bend, and then this bend, and then this bend, and this bend. By the time you get to the bottom, you're about 1/4 of an inch out as far as how it fits. So it's better to make an actual physical representation piece and then use it as your guide to make your bends. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that. I don't think I showed you that on the other side. All right, so that's what we got done so far this week, and not that exciting of a video, obviously, because it's all a repeat of things I've done in the last couple of weeks. But I've got the quarter panel just hung up there to create the, make sure I have the right spacing to the door, so I could set this bottom of the rocker panel to where it's going to land. So that's just sitting there held up by these 2 stands. And so I've got the rocker finally complete. It's kind of hard to see with the shadowing going on with the sun coming in the window. But anyway, it's all welded in, ground off. It's ready for a coat of zinc chromate primer. So next week I'll move on to reshaping this quarter panel and getting that all fit up, and proceeding with finishing that out, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. I appreciate everybody watching, and I will see you on the next one.